The New Age scene is tempting because it sedates you, right? And it makes you believe, there is only love and light, and this will be enough on your path here. But you also, being who we are, we also realize quickly that it's not as simple, and that there is also something more. And there is a lot of deception, to court us, also to court our energies by linking to different entities. I think about the angels, for example. So much deception also going on with that, or tarot cards. And for me, it has been about, realizing that there was deception and that something was really off with the experience I was having connecting to these frequencies. And of course, the New Age scene, the beings, and sometimes it's a scene that can heavily gaslight you as well, right? And kind of push back a part of your experience, which has a lot to do with suffering. And I think here you have to make a room and accept some of the suffering. And I don't think the New Age does encourage a lot of that. Now you have to get out of that pain, and but I think the New Age kind of repress it a lot and doesn't make room for it. And it's a big part of understanding which reality we are in. So I think it kind of call everybody who is on a spiritual journey, because of all the books that exist about the New Age. It's everywhere. It's pushed on YouTube, on social media. So it's hard, not to have layers of New Age in your life kind of reaching you. But it gets easier when you spend a little bit time, a few years maybe with it, and you kind of feel the box, right? It doesn't cover certain aspects. It rarely talks about mind control, which I think we really need to talk to understand which reality we are in, because it applies directly to our life. There was some gaslighting, with the New Age scene, for example, because, they say sometimes, well, I don't experience negativity in my reality anymore, right? But who is far enough in the game to say that? And sometimes, the more you expand and actually free yourself, sometimes the more repression comes at you, and it's getting more aggressive. Sometimes you have rewards as well, of course, but you also have the engineering around you that becomes more obvious in a way, right? Sometimes it's not even hiding, because you know about the simulation, right? Maybe when you're not sure about it, it's hiding, it's more covert, but then you have the more blatant negative type of attention from the simulation. But yeah, sometimes you get this very aggressive, you get the haters. First, it's the first things I'm going to read from someone, or quite quickly in the beginning. So it's rarely with someone that I've built something with. So it's just strangers, and probably a lot of them are non-spirited, or it's like, when you put something on marketplace on Facebook, you get 10 new message by all the NPC at the same time. It's a little bit like, that automatic AI response. Sometimes there are ways to block these stalkers, or at least, keep them at bay a little bit more. Sometimes they come invading your data and space. So this is a little bit different, but I think we find ways to warrior up and not let it affect us so much, especially when you get kind of used to it. Right. Yeah. Sometimes I try to do that more for the moment. It's like, picking the signature before you even read it. So you don't read it, but it's hard. And sometimes it's too late. You have read it, and it's like stay in your field. It's like this crystal from the movie industry. So I understand it's designed this way for us to keep the negativity in mind, and for it to affect our self-esteem. That's a frequency disturber, right? Disruption. It helps when you know better the nature of these, because a lot of them are AI driven, right? I published a video about AI stalking, and I think it helps me a lot because it becomes less personal, right? It's an attack from the matrix, basically, just meant to target your self-esteem and to sabotage your eating work or whatever you are building. So this helps me a lot to navigate it, and also, that it kind of go over my shoulder, and not enter my field as it used to do. But I think it takes a little bit of time before it affects you less, and really trouble your, you can be tortured sometimes. I mean, here you have a lot of torture going on, and I remember having a lot of torture when I was exiting some high mind spaces and some cult environment, and I was dealing with this negative image that people had of me that was not the truth either, right? And it can cause a lot of torture, and you have to really keep on remembering who you are and what your value, and self-validate yourself, and self-parent, self-nurture, and also knowing, even if you're the only one standing, that you know how to recognize yourself, right? Even if you're alone doing that at that moment, or at least it feels that way when you're dealing with that 8 energy that is really meant to put you back into this self-hatred, negative self-talk kind of loop, right? And when you're, of course, it's a low frequency, so when you're busy with that, you're not busy, creating your own reality. You're kind of tied to that low frequency, and that's the point, right? That's because it's always a frequency disruption, right? We have to get used to the fact that here we're not going to be liked by everyone. Actually, people who really will love you, I call them these allies, right? And they are rare gems in the game, who will really love you and encourage the real you, not your people pleasing alters, not what they can get out of you. So this is a rare percentage of the encounters, and it's really nice that they exist. And you have a lot of negative attention, right? And so it's really something to, there are months where, I get 80% of negative attention. It's nice to have positive interactions as well, and to focus time on that. It's very important. I notice it if I spend a day answering to handlers, 1, 2, 3 handlers already. I'm like, it's a little silly of me, and I'm aware. So, I try to make it a little bit shorter, just being aware of how I'm spending my time. Sometimes on the internet, it's, it's great because you practice your abilities to pick up energies, because sometimes, all you have is you read a comment, or you hear a voice, or these kind of things. So it's a great fast ramp training as well. But I do understand, because of also our involvement in projects, sometimes we are exhausted, and plus what we do in our daytime reality, for sure, how we invest our time. And it's nice to know when you need to replenish energy, when you need to retrieve, when it's time to stop interacting with all that many different energies, right? To be in touch with your own energy, right? And kind of come back to it. And that's also when you have time to feedback with yourself. I think it's very important when you're out of the situation. I think with time you learn to do it faster or simultaneously. But at the beginning, I could only feedback when I was out of a situation, and I was kind of processing with myself what happened. Okay, what got accessed here. And now I can be co-present and co-conscious, and kind of having this present mind also actively, like, being present in me as well, and staying observant and feedbacking at the same time, though still a little bit of that feedback is also happening after, still now. Of course, when you're out of a situation, you can, and that's how you break false memories. That's how you break free from mind control. The grip that it has on you at a certain moment when you're in the presence of certain energies. And then, you break through your programming, you identify the programming, you identify what was at play, why did I react this way? Or my people-pleasing nature was still active. I felt it, I felt it active. So I can work on that, right? I also have friends, male friends, who have an extremely people-pleasing nature. I think it also comes from the project and the MK Ultra project. You know, you've been broken down by MK Ultra, whether you're aware of it or not. And these friends that are real, these male friends, they also have very people-pleasing alters that I see expressing from time to time, and they also struggle, some of them, but I think men express it differently. Some people are expressing it more in a more feminine way that is similar to women, and some men it's gonna express differently, where the empathic nature is gonna be a little bit different. But I I see that expressing in people who have been broken down psychologically, you know, who are influenced by mind control. The people pleasing alters get access, and that's handling your time, right? Because you say yes to different things, and maybe you don't allow yourself the right to say, oh well, you know, maybe I'm, you know, you feel attachment and obligation to your word or things like that, and then it's time you don't have to sometimes rest or take good care of your health, or just unwind or things like that. Sometimes you need just a day off to find your center, your peace again. And of course, when you're surrounded by different energy, you don't have a lot of time to, you know, because you're sensitive to energy, you're giving to other energies, so you're not busy replenishing your own. And sometimes that's what maybe you would need to do. You know, it's that good routine that you can have for yourself, right? Something, the energy to smudge your house, to clean it out, you know, to take care of it, to declutter, to give some, you need space for that. You need space to go through your things and to enhance your space, enhance your life. And most of the things you can only do when you're alone, right? Because when somebody else is present in the room, what you're busy with is going to change, right? And you take them into consideration, so that's different. Yeah, this is a great example of an encouragement to unsubscribe from certain things, taking them out of our everyday life through the internet, because that's how social media also are built, right? To send you MK Ultra triggers all day long through what you associate with. So every year I go over my social media, a small circle, and I need to clean it up. You know, I did big cleanse in the past, and so now regularly I just go and eliminate, you kind of eliminate the stalker energy, or that MK Ultra energy, where it's like, running on a loop to trigger programming, monarch programming, beta 6 kitten programming, so you can pay attention to the leopard printing, or that sexual sensual signature. Now I built a module of 3 hours where I go over different images, and for 400 images, and to really get familiar with that signature. And I also do a few study case, and you can also go back to your own life to see if you had handlers around you, people who were encouraging these aspects in you, right? And who were triggering you when you were younger, and reflect on that, and kind of break through your programming. I think that's how you get access to some of your real memories about, what you've been really experiencing in your life. And I think that's the most important, right? Then you can really break it down, understand, process it, integrate it, let it go, and see also these beings who generally are very controlled for who they are, and no matter what was the attachment to them. I did a study case about a handler of mine. I was very attached to her, but she was very negative in my life because she was very, very controlled. So it's important to also walk away from what is very controlled if you want to experience a less controlled reality, right? You have to make that leap of faith and go on your own path, right? No matter, sometimes, it's extremely painful. You have to break ties with big groups sometimes who are, trying to bring you in delusion and all of that. And sometimes you're alone doing that. So you feel a little bit like an outcast or an outsider, but it's the laws of the inversion as well, where the majority is pushing programming, and it's only a handful of beings who are really doing the deep work of real deep programming. And when you look online, you have a lot of fantasy script and a lot of distraction, a lot of even when people study jung or shadow work, or it's still from kind of handler material, and it doesn't go deep to the root of it. And the root of it has a lot to do with mind control. And the more you spend time with the material, the more you see it active in your reality, the more you start to really see and sense beyond the cover life, right? So that's what my work is about. That's what I encourage for myself and for others, because I find that it is a road of freedom, and freedom of the mind, progressive, right? It's a slow reclamation, and from there you can really build wonders, and you can start to live the life that you want to build for yourself. I mean, you have to you have to fight strongly to push the engineering at bay all the time, because it's always try to be crippling around you back. And so this way you can not live the life the architects, the matrix architects have in mind for you, but really build your creation, what you want to build as a legacy, right? What you want to be known for in this lifetime. What will have been your work about? What will have been your expression about? That's what I stand for, and I know it's the right journey for me. And the rewards are certainly there. They appear in the quality of the everyday daytime life, right?